All right. This is going to be hopefully the last cynical video that I do in the next couple days. But wow, man, Dillian Whyte is being rumored to be on the undercard of Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz. Or I should reverse that since Andy Ruiz is the champion. Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua. That is what you call truly obscene. The whole thing is. Let's talk about that in this video. Welcome back to the channel, subscribers. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And I want to thank everybody for your support. Thank you very much for your encouragement in the Patreon, your encouragement in the live streams that we do through the super chats and the Cash App. And also thank you so much to everybody that watches the videos, shares the videos, likes the videos, watches the videos to the end, especially you guys who watch the videos to the end. Thank you guys so much. Look, this is just ridiculous. People wonder why boxing is not taken seriously. And we hear all of these things about how people can, how can we attract casual fans to the sport of boxing? How can, boxing return to its glory days? All of those type of things that promoters claim that they want. And then they do things like what Eddie Hearn is doing with this Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz fight. I'll leave alone the fact that this fight is in Saudi Arabia. Okay, the fact that it's there in and of itself tells you that there is something fundamentally and ethically wrong with Eddie Hearn and the people that are allowing this fight to take place there. It's ridiculous. But this is not a channel where I talk about those type of things. I'll talk about that on the Patreon. And you guys can do your own research about why I say that. Okay. But I'm going to say enough of it to say that the fact that it's there with what's going on there should tell you something about the nature of that man, Eddie Hearn, and his absolute and complete lack of a moral compass. But if the fact that that fight is taking place where that fight is taken isn't enough to show you that this guy is dang near completely amoral, the fact that Dillian Whyte would be on that undercard against anybody, considering what's going on, should be further proof. Dillian Whyte tested positive for D-ball, heading into a fight with Oscar Rivas. Eddie Hearn nor Dillian Whyte informed, nor UCAD, UK Anti-Doping, informed either VADA, the WBC, or Oscar Rivas that Dillian Whyte was under the influence that he had tested positive for a performance-enhancing drug, a synthetic, a version of testosterone referred to as Dianabol, or more commonly known as D-ball. And they let him fight. And it was only when somebody leaked out the information that people found out that Dillian Whyte, not for the first time, but for the second time, not for the second time, but if you count B samples, for the third time, had tested positive for a performance-enhancing drug. In the sport of boxing, where people punch each other in the head for a living, and there is a true risk of losing your life in the ring. So, to go past the fact that he got caught with it, he didn't tell anybody. They didn't tell the opponent and give them an opportunity to decide whether or not they actually wanted to risk their life in that manner under those circumstances, right? They were going to risk their lives to fight to begin with, but were they going to risk their life under those circumstances. Like, compare being on performance enhancing drugs to having brass knuckles underneath your gloves, or plaster of Paris, super thick plaster of Paris underneath your gloves and all the padding taken out. Would Oscar Rivas be willing to risk his life under that circumstance? Maybe not. Deanna Ball, maybe he wouldn't have, or he would have asked for more money or compensation to make up for the fact that he was taking on an additional risk, but they never even talked to him. We've been waiting for 2 months now. This is now the 19th. This is almost 2 months waiting to find out if their B sample was going to be cleared. Eddie Hearn is now talking about having him fight in December on this undercard in Saudi, in the Middle East, with never having had any punishment whatsoever, or even having closure. Not just no punishment, right? Because you could say, okay, yeah, he popped dirty twice and there was no punishment. Like, really, what happened with Canelo? Or what happened with Tyson Fury? Tyson Fury probably just had his punishment, but they just retroactively suspended him because he wound up sitting out for 2 years. But Canelo, that was no punishment. He got suspended for 6 months. He only fights twice a year anyway. And then he wound up just fighting Rocky Fielding after the Gennady Golovkin fight. He made his money back. He moved his bout up from May to September. He fought in September, then he fought in December. And the December fight was on DAZN, so he got a ton of money like it was a pay-per-view fight anyway. He didn't lose anything. And now they're out here comparing Canelo Alvarez to Henry Armstrong for fighting Sergey Kovalev, who already been knocked out twice. Regardless, Dillian Whyte, if he's on that undercard, man, that's just... They have to sell this to casual boxing fans. They have to. Because those are going to be the only people that don't know this type of stuff is going on. And they obviously do not care. There is no governing body in Saudi Arabia that there's no sanctioning body in Saudi Arabia that is going to effectively protect somebody from the use of performance enhancing drugs. Okay, there's not. There's no protection there. I don't care what anybody says. VADA's going to go over there and test. Blah blah. VADA was testing over there in the UK. And they didn't catch him. UCAD caught him and didn't say anything. No, there's no protection for these fighters. They don't care. They don't care because there's more money in it. There's more money getting pushed into it by the people that are cheating than there is in the testing agencies. And there's almost no real commitment by these guys really to catch anybody. And if there is no punishment, then there's no deterrent whatsoever for people doing it again. And then since there's no deterrent of people doing it again, people are going to feel like it's their responsibility or their actual duty to do it. Because, hey, man, I can't compete. I can't earn a living if I don't. Look what's happening, guys. Jarrell Big Baby Miller, and I'm speaking from the voice of another fighter that might be justifying using performance enhancing drugs. They say, look, come on, man, everybody is. Look what happened. And on top of it, nobody's getting punished. Jarrell Big Baby Miller is probably going to sign a huge contract with Top Rank to be opponent for the lineal champion that they made up. Their made up lineal champion belt with Tyson Fury. He's going to be right back boxing again. He might wind up getting that $10 million payday again because Anthony Joshua's not going to mind fighting him again. He ain't fighting Deontay Wilder, right? If he gets past Andy Ruiz, and even if he doesn't get past Andy Ruiz and tries to build it up, right? Dillian Whyte is going to get another Anthony Joshua fight, whether or not Anthony Joshua wins against Andy Ruiz or not. He keeps the belts or not. He's still going to get another Anthony Joshua fight that's still going to take place because they're under the same promoter. They're both from the UK. They both had a match together. They're both That's as predictable as a fight happening between between Derek Chisora and Dillian Whyte, or Dillian Whyte and Joseph Parker, or Joseph Parker and Carlos Takam, or all those guys, or Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora, because they're all in the same little circle of fighters fighting each other. So they're all going to eat underneath that banner of that promoter, who is obviously does not give a dang, don't give a fat rat about the safety of their boxers. They care about them guys looking big and looking muscular, and their fighters being able to beat the other fighters who might not be with promoters, so that they can protect their investment. Yeah, get on the dope, guy, because that way we can't have you having some promoter just walk and knock you, some other fighter just knock you off. I'm building you up. So you get on that dope so you make sure you can continue to win. And I'll do my job even if I get caught on a hot mic talking about how I'm going to protect you from getting caught if you test positive for performance-enhancing drugs. It's just a disgrace. The whole thing all the way around is a disgrace. Let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.